I came sneaking up the back stairs to my office right after lunch, hoping that nobody would see me. And suddenly I hear my assistant Mark say, "Rick, where the hell have you been, man? I've been looking all over for you." Busted. And I panicked. Everybody thought I was this really great guy, a loving husband, a great dad, successful. I had the house in the burbs. I was always that guy that would help anybody with anything. Rick's that really great guy. But what they didn't know is I was lying to all of them. When I was 19, I came out of the closet to my parents, and they immediately marched me off to the pastor's office so that he could convince me that I wasn't gay. The only thing he convinced me of was he was sexy and hot. Woo, honey. Well, Mom and Dad, it didn't work, but the thing that did work was he convinced me I was not allowed to be gay. And that's when it all started. The lying, the shame, the guilt, the pretending to be somebody that I wasn't. A few years later, I met my wife. We got married and fell in love, or at least what I thought was love. We had 2 beautiful little girls. But the whole time, I just couldn't shake that desire to be with a guy. So to cope, I would secretly get online in AOL chat rooms and make arrangements to hook up with guys when I was on business trips or at lunch. So as I stood there looking at my assistant Mark, my heart was beating out of my chest. I thought, oh my God, he knows. And then I quickly covered my tracks and said, "Mark, buddy, what's up, man? I was just out with our booth designer for London, and the meeting ran a little bit long. What do you need, buddy?" And he said, "I need some help with the London show." And of course I said, "Okay," because I'm a really great guy, and that was the easiest way to cover my tracks. Now I have to be honest, I really did want to come out of the closet. But I had these humongous fears. I had 3 that were absolutely killing me. Number 1, I was afraid I was going to lose everything. Lose my job, I'd be paying child support and alimony, so I wouldn't have any money whatsoever, and I'd end up living in my car. Number 2, I was going to be stuck with crappy sex and all that sort of stuff. Because, hey, this is what gay life is all about, and all those guys I was hooking up with, they were just proving that to be true. But number 3, I was afraid of losing that relationship with my little girls. They were everything to me. And being a dad was all I ever wanted to be. Well, it's 2 months later. I'm in London, I'm still married, and I am laying in bed in a swanky hotel suite. Those sheets are just tangled around my legs, and my arms are wrapped around this hot British dude. But this time it was different. This wasn't like those sneaking out at lunchtimes. This time, my heart is beating. It is beating strong and empowered. And I'm excited and calm at the same time. There is no sex, no crappy sex, none whatsoever. In fact, he and we've been talking all night long, and he's getting to know me, and the deeper he gets to know me, the deeper I get to know myself. It's so amazing. And then he says something, and I laugh, this big, joyful laugh, something I haven't done in years. And for the first time in my life, I love myself. Because I being myself. Now, don't get me wrong, all that lying and stuff I'm doing right now, it's still bad, but those bad things no longer define me. And it is in that moment I realize that fears are only as alive as we give them life. And suddenly I realized that all those I can't, and those fears and excuses I've been living with, they are starting to fade away, and the hopelessness I've been feeling is turning into possibilities. And that's when I say to myself, "Rick, what can you do? What can you do right now? So I want you to think about something you're really wanting to do. That thing that you keep saying, I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. Your can'ts are holding you back, your excuses, your fears. But I want you to think about one small thing you can do. Now, for some of you, you're going to want to write a book. So maybe the small thing is writing the first couple of pages. For others of you, you want to start a podcast. So find somebody here to interview for that podcast. But I see a whole lot of you going, yeah, Rick, nice try, buddy, but my thing is so much bigger. I hear you. Some of you need to go on that big trip. Others of you need to quit that job. And some of you need to leave that relationship that is no longer working. But I know you're going to be thinking about this, and I'm going to take you back to doing that one small thing. But I want you to think about the excuse or the fear that you're making, and pick the one that is the least frightening for you to do. And I want to invite you to do three things. Number one, I want you to give yourself permission to go do it. When I came out of the closet, I gave myself permission against all the odds, and I made it happen. Number two, I want you to change your beliefs. And the easiest way to change a belief is to ask yourself, how true is that belief? I changed my beliefs about being a man, being a dad, being a husband, being a father, and about being a gay man. But the third thing I want to encourage you to do is to choose. Choose to do it your way. Listen to everybody, get all the input you need from all the meetups and stuff here, but choose to do it your way. I chose to do all this my way based on my values. Now, I'm not going to tell you it's going to be easy. It sure the hell isn't going to be painless, but I can assure you it is fucking possible. And here's what I know to be so true. And the thing that I've learned about fears and excuses and being unfaithful to yourself is this. The truth of who you are is so much more powerful than the false truth that you're pretending to be. So show us who you are. No fears, no excuses. Done.